into the evening hours. And also, just know this, these thunderstorms that are heading into the Red River Valley and the James River Valley, the Cheyenne River Valley, are going to continue to percolate not only all night, but even into the morning hours. So we told you what's going on now. Let's take a look at what's going on elsewhere across the valley with regards to the forecast. So here is a look at the current radar. Storms moving towards Grand Forks. Looks to be pretty likely that there's going to be some Red River Valley activity in the overnight hours. And these cells that are down to the south, will they persist? Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest model across the valley. And as we look at the model data here, I do want to load up a loop that's going to carry us into tomorrow, because these storms are going to last into the midday and afternoon hours into your Thursday. So keep that in mind as we go into your day tomorrow. Now, let me see. I'll go into the 9 o'clock hour. The main thing I am concerned about, by the way, with regards to these storms here, is going to be the chance of some very heavy local rain. No model is going to tell us exactly where a thunderstorm is going to travel, but the models are going to do a good job of giving us an idea of where things are going to be transpiring as we go into the overnight hours. So we'll load this loop up, and what you're going to notice is our thunderstorms now will continue to trek off to the east. We'll let it get through its flashing here as it's loading all the data up, and then Hutch will go over this in hour-by-hour detail. Here's what you need to know. Showers and thunderstorms that have worked their way out of the Devil's Lake Basin are going to be working their way in towards Grand Forks tonight. So this is pretty believable, and it's not too far off. Now, we're approaching this time right now. They're not in Grand Forks yet, but they are in Grand Forks County, so it's a little bit early. Showing a little bit of activity could be possible in Fargo, but not necessarily a great chance of that until a little bit later. Look at northwest parts of Minnesota getting some significant thunderstorm activity as we work our way into the overnight hours. Now, notice this. As we go into the morning, let me show you the timestamp needs to be switched over to the model data here. Okay, so this is 7 in the morning. Showers and thunderstorms will redevelop and kind of form here. Notice the Southern Valley has a lower probability of seeing storms, and northern parts of the valley and northwest Minnesota could have an enhanced chance of some of those thunderstorms moving through. These will last and continue to percolate right into the midday hour before they exit. And then there could be some redevelopment in central and eastern Minnesota with a risk of severe weather there. I do want to point out this, though, as we go through, not all models are agreeing. So let's go to one that was looking pretty good earlier and show you that. Let me see if I can turn off some of these radar scenes here. Oh, yeah, that radar's off. That radar's off. I'll figure that out later. Let's talk about this particular model, shall we? Now, I do need to load this one up as well. Let's go to the loop. Let's go here. Let's go to tomorrow. Let's go until the early afternoon, mid-afternoon time frame, and let's load that up. Now, this model seems to be was doing a little bit better job with the cluster of storms moving out of Bismarck, carrying it down south into the Southern Valley. What happens to it? So as this loads up with the latest run, let's go ahead and check it out. Here we go. So this one is showing the cluster of showers and thunderstorms, Stutzman County, and a little bit of activity down here near Gwinner that will continue to work its way east toward the Red River Valley as we go into the overnight hours. If you happen to be walking the cat on the leash tonight, they don't like rain usually, and there'll be a chance of it moving through in the overnight hours. So this model has some rain in the Southern Valley. I think that's a safe bet. Not everybody will see rain under these storms, mind you. Now, as we carry this through, look at things just continuing to percolate here in parts of eastern North Dakota. Stutzman County, Foster and Eddy County included, as well as, Sargent, Ransom, and, Dickey and Lemoore County as well. These will continue to percolate through the Highway 200 corridor, could be the I-94 corridor as well on this particular model, right into daybreak. Locally heavy rain from these storms will push into Bemidji as we go through the mid-morning hours. And then look at this, redeveloping showers and thunderstorms into the midday right here. And these could be strong to severe and push off into the east, out towards central Minnesota with a risk of severe weather there. Tomorrow's risk of severe weather will generally be to the east of the Red River Valley, so we'll keep that in mind. But what about the rainfall potential that Hutch has been concerned about? For that, let's load up the total precipitation that this model here, that I think happens to be doing a little bit better job with what's going on with our forecast right now. And look at this. Now, what you're seeing in the blue colors is a chance of a few tenths of an inch of rain. Grand Forks County, Polk County, on up to Roseau County, not as much. Now, I think there'll be some rain in northwest Minnesota, so keep that in mind. But the potential, because we'll have ongoing showers and thunderstorms at times, not the entire time, between now and noon tomorrow. How much rain is this thing talking about here? Well, let me show you. Bemidji. How about right around 2 to 2.5 inches of rainfall in the Bemidji area? Fargo. Oh my goodness. Is this real? 3 inches of rain? These storms may not work their way over Fargo in general. This could be a little north. It could be a little south. Some storms will have a chance at producing some locally seriously heavy rain. Now, when we look south of Jamestown with what's moving through there, this model is saying, wow, 4.5 inches, not out of the question in a few spots. So keep this in mind. Thunderstorms are going to be not continuous as we go between now and the day tomorrow, but it's going to bring a chance of some very locally heavy rain. So many areas have a good chance at picking up a few tenths of an inch of rain. That's a really good chance. However, where these storms track and where they repeat, like you saw in the forecast, we could have some areas getting redonky-donk amounts of rain. Now, that's going to impact our area's sump pumps. It's going to impact our area's harvest. So keep that in mind. This lasts between now and Thursday in the afternoon. And let's take a look at that risk for severe weather for your afternoon tomorrow. For that, let's go here. This is a look at what's going on now. And let me load this up here and go to the most recent time frame. We got a new warning for you. That storm that we were talking about in Emmons County is now warned. It's severe. Heading into the Linton area right now. So Linton, Hazleton, up north, Moffett, the Braddock area, these areas, that's where this storm is, and hail is going to be a risk with this particular storm cell. The National Weather Service says there's a severe thunderstorm warning for this radar-indicated severe threat, 1.75-inch hail. That's ridiculous. That hail is going to be possibly damaging with gusts of wind upwards of 60 miles per hour. So put the jalopy in the garage and be ready for some significant hail in Linton, in central and southern parts of Emmons County. Along the South Dakota border, this storm has peaked up near Venturia and Ashley. So the main core of this storm is staying south of the border. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that does continue there. This warning is basically in effect until, let's see if I can pull that up for you, until 10:45. And your current time on the model is, let's go to the main timeline here. Boom. It's 10:20. So the next 20 minutes. Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate all of you putting on your comments here, questions as well. I'm driving from Fertile to Moorhead, Callie says, at 8:30 a.m. for an appointment. We'll have a baby in tow. Nervous about that time. Now, the risk for severe weather for you, Callie, is low, but there could be some pretty heavy rain in places as well, so keep that in mind. Please give Minot rains. Brenda, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in Minot. I'll see if I got some measurements from your area too. But first, let's finish what's going on now. A new, I will call it kind of a weather statement from the National Weather Service for Barnes County, an extreme southern part of Griggs County here for this Boeing line segment of storms. This is a thunderstorm cluster here. This cluster of numerous thunderstorms is working its way through, and it has some rotation to it, but its likelihood of producing tornadoes has really diminished. The hail size has come down, but it is producing hail. Make no mistake about it. Right now, it could be producing nickel-sized hail, maybe even up to 1-inch diameter size hail. The hail probability with this cell, where you see the pink south of Wimbledon, 100%, and the maximum hail size upwards of 1 inch in diameter. That is moving in the general direction of Rogers, Daisy, Leal, Laverne in the upcoming hour. So there is a statement issued by the National Weather Service for this storm, and it says that this advisory, the special weather statement, was placed in effect until 11:15. Nickel-sized hail, 55-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's not a picnic, right? That's no fun. Hello from Minto. Good to have you on board. Thanks so much, Nancy. Good to have you watching. Sue is watching from Fergus Falls. Are you going to get bad weather? You're going to get wet weather, and there's a decent chance of it as we go through the overnight hours. Notice this. Uh-oh, something new just came out here. Let me see. Maybe we're carving off some watch area. Nope, new event. New event for Barnes County, new severe thunderstorm warning. It isn't even showing up here. Let's see if I got that right. Okay, so let's go to see if it puts it up here. It hasn't colored it in. There it is. Okay, so my phone told me about the warning before it came up here. Barnes County. This is now a severe thunderstorm warning for this area right here, this area of hail, up, I just said upwards of 1 inch in diameter, will be working its way towards Rogers and Daisy. That is now a warned storm. So prepare for gusty straight line winds that could exceed 60 miles per hour. Let's go back and take a look at the measurements of wind speed now, because we're starting to get a little closer to the Mayville radar, and we can do a better job of looking into the storm, and the Doppler radar is going to notice those cloud droplets and how fast they're moving. And if those cloud droplets happen to be moving exactly toward the radar, we can get a really good measurement of those, well, velocities. So let's go to the velocity on this radar version here. Base velocity is what Hutch wants to look at. We're going to look right into the storm from Mayville, North Dakota. See all these bright colors here? What do those bright colors mean? Wind. That wind is blowing. Now, we also have some spin in this storm right here. I want to point this out. This is pretty high up in the storm. So let me just measure just how high up it is so you get a feel for that. And then I also want to point out that with this particular storm, let's see if I can find it. There we go. That's what I was looking for. I'm just starting to learn where all my tools are on this thing. So I appreciate you sticking with me as I'm learning this new software. Now, this is the important part I wanted to point out to you, that the radar is showing that Mayville is the radar site. Okay, I want to point out this storm. What you're looking at, this range from the radar site, and the beam goes up at a 1/2 degree angle, is 54.6 nautical miles from the radar site. Not too far. But what we're going to notice with this 1/2 degree tilt is it's 5,000 feet above the ground. So the winds that this is measuring, a mile up almost, okay? 5,280 feet is a mile, so it's close to a mile up. That's the point I wanted to make, that this storm, what we're looking at here are wind speeds a mile off the ground. Can winds that are a mile off the ground mix down to the ground in some capacity? Yes. Emmett, you asked about tornado warnings yet. There have been tornado warnings out west. 20 rail cars were just blasted off the railroad track. Empty coal cars, mind you, likely by a tornadic, well, it was a tornado warned storm. So whether the winds were straight lined or whether the winds were tornadic remains to be seen. But 20 rail cars tipped over, that's not good. So, okay, let's take a look at this spinning thunderstorm. That's another reason why this storm moving into Barnes County, Sanborn, north of Valley City, here's the interstate, I-94. These areas in northern Barnes County are going to see this spinning thunderstorm move through. The reason I wanted to put this up here, though, was to measure the wind speeds a mile up above the ground. And what we're seeing is there are spots here where we see these pinks and all that of 60 mile per hour winds or better aloft above the ground. So the radar is picking up some intense wind speeds with this cell. And look at this little looky thing here. We've got motion away from the radar here, away from the radar in red and toward the radar in green. So there is some spin and tight spin in this. Let's see if the National Weather Service text says anything about whether or not this storm has a tornado possible. Yes, it does. Why do they say tornado possible? We just showed you. There is spin in this storm, and it's tight spin. Can see lightning off in the distance north of Moorhead. Kara, that's an amazing point. And if you're looking from Moorhead and you're looking, you said north here north of Moorhead. So if you're looking north of Moorhead and you're looking to the north, you're seeing storms up by Mayville. If you're looking west, you're seeing storms out by the Barnes County area. So back to the severe warned storm. Valley City, you are in the warning. It includes Valley City, Wimbledon, Sanborn, Daisy, Rogers, Eccleston, and Leal. And the storm is heading right towards Leal. There is some rotation in this particular storm. Tough to see at night. Don't go out there and start gawking at this thing. This is a dangerous storm. If you're in Rogers, you're right in the path of this storm. If you're in Daisy, you're right in the path of the rotating part of this storm. So that part right there is rotating. Down here, we have some ridiculous wind. Unreal, Andrew says, 1.4 inches of rain so far in Andrew's rain gauge. Thank you so much, very much for the report. And if you have photos to upload, please remember, go to hutchesweather.com. Bottom of the page, click on the photo section. You're going to upload your photo there, and I will be very appreciative and share those with other viewers here. So I appreciate that very, very much. So Katie's asking anything for Bagley. It's going to be overnight and tomorrow. The forecast we went over moments ago, between about 1 a.m. and noon tomorrow, and even into the afternoon for Bagley and Bemidji. There'll be thunderstorms passing, periods of thunderstorms from overnight tonight through the day tomorrow, particularly into the mid-afternoon, and then they'll be out of your area, okay? Heavy rain will be the main threat. And we were talking about some areas could get as much as 4 inches of rain or more locally. Not everybody, just some areas could have gully washers repeatedly moving through the area. Will this hit Fargo? Check it out. See where Fargo is? Okay, if you look at this storm, it is moving east. But look at along, and they have a little bit of a northeasterly tilt to it. These could slide just north of Fargo. There are some storms here. There could be more that form in here. So the tough part, Logan asked this question. The tough part here, Logan, is that anywhere in this area we could see new storms form. This one is moving due east, and it's spinning, and it's heading towards Valley City. It's not a thunderstorm. It's not a tornado warning. It's a thunderstorm warning. And there could be 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We are seeing 60-mile-per-hour winds a mile off the ground. Those can mix down with heavy rain to the surface. And then we got this spinning nonsense that's taking place with this particular storm. Motion away from the radar in red, motion toward the radar in green. Right here where you see the spinny thing, that's where things are spinning. That's where this storm is tight enough. It doesn't mean a tornado's on the ground. Remember, we're looking a mile up. But I want to repeat that. We're seeing spin in this storm 1 mile off the ground. Could that make it down to the ground? It's possible. National Weather Service says, yes, it is possible. I say, yes, it's possible, even at the dark 30 hour that we have. So we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. That's the latest. If you are in Valley City, I would seek shelter in an interior room. Stay away from those windows. Get to the bottom floor, Sanborn, particularly north of Interstate 94. So we're talking about Lake Ashtabula. If you have a cabin on Lake Ashtabula and you are out there, get out of mobile homes, RVs, campers, and tents. Gusty straight line winds could be 60 miles per hour. Make sure that you're not, at any case, no matter where you seek shelter, sitting next to a room with a tree outside. Because if a tree falls on your house, that would really be a bad day. This rotation, by the way, is getting stronger on the latest scan. It's way out there. There's a little bit of noise right here, but yeah, we're still seeing some tight rotation moving in towards Leal and Rogers and Sanborn. So storm showing some signs of rotation. Let me take a look at another product here and see if I'm seeing any fun. This I don't like. There's a smoothing going on here. I don't want smoothing. Let's just look at real data. Okay, there we go. You need to look at real data and not smooth data when it comes to pixel stuff. And that's why it doesn't look as pretty on the air. It's always pretty to smooth the data out, but do you see the individual pixels? Okay, those are called range gates, and that's what the radar is measuring. That's information. Watching from RGV, Texas, 82 degrees right now. San Juanita Dominguez, thank you so very much for watching. We're up here in North Dakota, and well, we have some stormy McStormersons working their way through. Now, what we're seeing here is some large hail potential because we've got this extended area. That's not really showing, that's not really what's going on, but that's what's going on. I am not seeing any indication of a lot of debris or anything like that getting lofted up into the air with this thing on this particular thing, and that's what I was looking for. Now we're going to look at something else called, let's go with the difference in reflectivity. So if debris gets lofted into the air, and this would have to be a mile up, right? So if debris gets sucked up by a tornado and is lofted in the air a mile up, because that's what the radar is seeing here, then the reflectivity from the debris is going to be a lot different than all the raindrops around it. So we have a high difference in reflectivity here, and that's right here near Leal. So is there rotation showing up right here where we have this red right here? Is that happening? Let's go back to the velocity and see where the velocity is. I'm going to put my finger right where this red stuff is. Now let's see what the base velocity says. Pretty close. Right here, we have wind toward the radar, wind away from the radar. This is a backwards rotation. Normally, a tornado would rotate counterclockwise. We've had plenty of examples of clockwise oriented spinners on the ground. We also have this area here where there is this counterclockwise rotation, and then up north near Leal. This whole thing has a lot of winds going into it and out of it. Now, if I go up to a different elevation angle, let me go higher. I'm going to step up. You're going to see the colors change. This is nearly 1 degree in elevation angle, 2 degrees in elevation angle, and the picture's changing, isn't it? Doesn't mean that the rotation is going away. We're looking higher and higher up in the storm. Now, at this level, higher up in the storm, what we're looking at is wind blowing away from the radar and wind blowing toward the radar and wind blowing away from the radar right here. So that is an area of convergence in the storm right there, or it's actually could be some rolling of the air with wind as well. So sometimes we develop these rolling tubes of air in the atmosphere, and if those get bent down toward the ground, then that's not a good day. So as we're looking up higher and higher in this cloud, now what we're seeing, let's go here. Now we're starting to get up toward the cloud top, and that difference goes away. Where we still see the difference is here. So here, where we have greens near Hannaford, that's wind blowing toward the radar and then wind blowing away from the radar. So in some areas, there's some divergence aloft going on, and then some areas there's convergence going on. And that can add or subtract to that upward vertical motion going on in the storm. Really neat stuff going on here over parts of Barnes County. Oh boy. So you know what? This here, let me turn on my telestrator. We're back down to the lowest elevation scan. This green is motion toward the radar. And this red is motion away from the radar. Okay. Toward away. That's clockwise rotation. There is some awesome and strong clockwise spin in this storm heading towards Rogers. And then on the other side of that, we've got counterclockwise spin. So we got a small area here where there's some pretty intense shear with that storm making its way in the general direction of you folks in and around Valley City. Let's see if I could turn the telestrator off. Yeah, let's go. I'm just trying to get those red arrows to disappear from the map. There we go. Ah, I got more red arrows. Okay, Hutch has gone wild. Okay. So let's see, there's one. There, okay. Ah, don't laugh, I'm just trying over here. I'm gonna have to turn this telestrator thing off. There we go. I think I've got it off now. Okay, so we've got a rotating thunderstorm moving through northern Barnes County, rotating tightly, not far from Sanborn, not so far from Rogers. If you're in those communities, I'd seek shelter in an interior room. Stay away from windows. That's a pretty dangerous storm for sure. And then this cell out here, not far from Linton, is making its way to the north and east. There is the main core of the storm moving at 25 miles per hour in a northeasterly direction, heading in the general direction of Napoleon. The main risk from this particular storm, says the National Weather Service, is that large hail and gusty wind to around 60 miles per hour. By large hail, we mean 2-inch diameter hail from that particular cell. So that's what's going on right now. The forecast, as we talked about, will bring heavy rain to the area. We covered that as well. Run, Hutch has us all under red arrows. Tim, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I got carried away with my telestrator there. I couldn't clear it. So Grand Forks County, we have some thunderstorms moving into your general area. Let's turn this back to regular reflectivity to see that it's just garden variety showers pushing into Grand Forks and Northwood right now. Southern Grand Forks County, north of Mayville. This is not severe at all. I wouldn't worry about severe. I'd sleep easy. This big old cluster right out here that's meandering its way near and south of Highway 200, near and north of I-94, that's the main event tonight. This is a cluster of thunderstorms. It's a complex of strong to severe thunderstorms, and it's rotating. And sometimes that rotation can actually help it live a little longer into the overnight hours. Let's see. My garden in Moorhead could use some rain, Wayne says. Thank you so much. Spooky, I don't like storms. Stay safe, everyone. So the risk of severe weather is going down. The watch you see out here is a tornado watch. It expires in 23 minutes and 12 seconds or so. Okay, so then the watch is done. What are we worried about? This cluster here. So if we take a look at the big picture, we have storms exiting the region, heading up into Brandon, Manitoba, and up towards Winnipeg, and that's going to continue exiting the region. We do have strong isolated cell out here in Emmons County moving to the northeast. We have this main cluster here and another cluster of storms that has been trying to form down here near the South Dakota border that has been severe and did produce a tornado earlier. A long-lived tornado at that, moving its way toward the Lidgerwood area right now. Now that tornadic storm is all but finished up. Oh, there was the Eureka one. That was the tornadic one down there. So the bottom line is that we have a few areas of thunderstorm activity moving into the Red River Valley. Our chances for storms here increase from basically midnight through the overnight and into tomorrow and all the way into noon. It's not going to storm the whole time everywhere in that time frame. We're going to have passing showers and passing thunderstorms. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, thanks so very much for sharing your updates with me here on Hutch's Weather. I'm looking for details and updates and see if anybody's uploaded any new content. We do have, content. Thank you very much. Here it looks like I've got some Bismarck uploads here. So let's get you to what happened out there. Nasty monster storms moved south of Bismarck. There were baseball-sized hail reported out there, tornado warnings in the Sioux County area. And I've got some great photos to share with you from people in Oaks and Bismarck right now. So let me do that because that's what makes Hutch's Weather, Hutch's Weather. Once again, oh, you're going to see something, but I need to do this. Bearing with me. Here's your photo uploads, and now let's go ahead and take a look at the new ones. Then I'll also show you that we did have some terrible damage reported. This is Bismarck earlier when storms moved through. I want to thank Mark for sharing these storms again, skirting the Bismarck area. Mainly, we showed you when I was covering this live, Lincoln, Minokan, and out to the east side of the metro area and the airport area. So storms out there skirting the Bismarck area were just ominous indeed. Thank you so very much for sharing those storms. Now let's take a look at the next batch. Oh my goodness, this is a video. Okay, so thanks for uploading video. Oh yeah, and you can see, yep, you can see those clouds just mixing and mingling and working their way through. We have updrafts, we have downdrafts in there. You get scary looking clouds all in this ominous skyline over the capital city of Bismarck, North Dakota a little bit earlier. Joel, good to see you out this past week at the Potato Days area. It was a pleasure to get to meet you finally. Thank you very much. You know what's up? A few storms out there. Check out this view from Oaks. Oaks, oh my gosh. Christine Harris sharing this from the Oaks area. These are called mammatus clouds. Mammary glands is what they're kind of named after in Latin. So basically they're the lumpy, bumpy clouds, and they form associated with thunderstorms. And when you see skies like this, you know there's a lot of turbulent stuff going on up in the atmosphere there. Josh says tried to upload a video but can't get it to work. You know, you're not alone there, Josh. I have had some folks with some issues with that. There can be a lot of different things that can cause that, so I cannot tell you if you're uploading from your phone directly. I have gotten it to work almost every time with my phone, but there's been a time or two, so I apologize for that. I wish I could give you an answer. There's a lot of variables in that, including the size of the video. So if it's a short, sweet video, hopefully it doesn't give us too many troubles, and I really do appreciate all of you trying. So, and then Jamestown, as the storms were skirting by there, and those storms are now moving into Barnes County and are severe, and we've got a TVS in that, a tornado vortex signature. Doesn't mean a tornado's on the ground, but there's a look at what things look like by Grant. Oh, Grant, thanks for taking this shot. Look at the scary continuous lightning and thunder going on there. So again, hutchesweather.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, see the little, the little blue upload button right here. That's what you click to upload your video. Now let's take a quick look at this changing of a situation for you folks in Barnes County. Now, I do want to point this out. You see this little bite taken out of the storm here? Sometimes a spinning storm like we showed you can throw raindrops and hailstones out of that rotating core. I think that might be a suspect area where we could have some spin, but the radar is picking up a tornadic vortex signature in this storm on the south side here, not far from Sanborn. So a couple areas of shear. Let's go back over that real quickly and let's see what it looks like with the base velocity. And indeed, near Sanborn, we got very strong spin in the storm right here. Remember that other little area I showed you, not far from Rogers? We'll mark it with a mark on the screen here of reflectivity. See the hole taken out of this storm right here just by that green triangle? Let's watch that as we switch this back to base velocity. The green triangle. Is there spin in the storm right there? It's weaker now. It's weaker now. But it would be where the greens and reds are next to each other. So there is some evidence of that there. Needless to say, there is what we call a tag in the National Weather Service's statement that there is a tornado possible with this storm. This spin down here on the south side looks to be a little bit stronger, not far from Sanborn. So this particular mesocyclone, rotating storm, has a height of 5,000 feet or about a mile up and a depth of 36,000 feet. That's how deep that we're indicating the rotation through the different levels of scans on the radar site there. So what's it going to be like in Fargo? Looks like we'll have some chances of showers making their way into the area, but the better chance comes well after midnight here in Fargo and will last on again, off again until we get to noon. Some models have us getting a butt kiss here, not much of anything. Other models have this big complex moving very close to us, and if that happens, this is a heavy rain producer. Let's see if we can show what's called storm total precipitation estimates on this thing. And let me see, I might need to go back to the other product here, so let's go do that. Let's go here. Boom. It's catching up. I love how all those little icons are moving across. Okay, now let's take a look at storm total precipitation estimates. Okay. I'm just loading up the right button and making sure I can find it. Okay, so here we got colors, and these colors are indicative of the rainfall estimates by Doppler radar. So as these thunderstorms trucked south of Bismarck, Sioux and Emmons County, there's so much hail in these and baseballs that it can throw these estimates off. So we won't go into that, but somebody was asking about Minot's rain. Minot got very little. Off to the east, though, east of Ward County, we did see some rainfall, not far from Rugby, Towner, Upham, and Granville and Velva. Those areas picking up significant amounts of rain. How much? Well, watch my little cursor here where you see the whites. That's upwards of 2 inches of rain up there not far from Velva. Now, as we look in on the Harvey area in Wells County, south of you, we had estimates of around 3/4 of an inch or so in some spots. Things are just moving into that New Rockford area north of Carrington, and estimates there are likewise near 3/4 of an inch in rainfall amounts. Now look at Stutzman County here. This has been a very slow-moving cluster of storms. So we got over an inch to an inch and a half to 2 inches reported not far from the Jamestown Reservoir here. So do these match your rainfall amounts? It's probably not safe to go into all these areas and measure the rain, but that's what we have coming our way with these slow-moving storms working their way in our general direction. So that's a look at rainfall estimates from these cells that are now pushing their way in. Notice again, the point I was making about model guidance is the fact that it looks like everybody's going to get this 1 to 3 or 5 inches of rain. That's not going to happen. It's going to follow these clusters of storms. And right here's where it is now. And that is where things are going to get a bit more interesting as we go into the overnight hours. So some areas will get locally heavy rain over 2 inches as we go between now and noon on Thursday. So keep that in mind. Let me give you the latest update, too, on the severe weather risk for tomorrow. I will turn off the watch boxes here if I can. Let's go here. There we go. I think I'm starting to learn where some of these things are. There, the watch boxes are turned off. Now what we're going to do is see if I can turn off some of these. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and plot the Storm Prediction Center's latest update on the convective outlook for tomorrow. So today's risk of severe storms and tornadoes were in the yellow area here and the orange area. Look at this. Tornadoes here in Kidder County, here, blue train off the tracks, and now they're moving off into the areas of Barnes County right now. That's included in the slight risk area, and the risk goes down as we go to the east. It's not zero, but it does go down. Tomorrow, look at where this is right now. This says, well, Brainerd and St. Cloud and Wilmer and Minneapolis, that's where the best chance will be of the severe weather tomorrow. Some models are suggesting that these storms will fire a little closer to Bemidji and into Lakes Country. So I would not be surprised because the model I'm referring to did the best job with tonight's storms. I think that there's a decent chance of seeing some of this activity firing between Bemidji and, say, Fergus Falls. Hey, Josh said finally got the video upload to work. Josh, thank you much. I'll look for it right now. See, this is how two-way broadcasting goes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we've got a few videos on here. Looks like something from Devil's Lake. Let's go ahead and I do need to double check something here. Okay. Open that puppy up and let me see. Wow. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a noisy storm. We'll go ahead and update that. And this is Josh. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you, Josh. Okay, we're going to have video here of the train cars that were derailed east of Steele. Here it is. Oh, wait. Let me see before I go back. Okay. Josh, I appreciate you uploading that video and whatnot. And if it was sent from a friend, that's wonderful. But I really cannot use that to show it yet. I need permission from that person. But I do like the Chevelle thing you're talking about there. Appreciate that very much. Finally got the video to upload. Josh, thank you much for sharing that. I see it. There were like 20 train cars toppled by the storm outside of Steele, North Dakota today. So tomorrow's risk of severe weather is east. Now let's go back here. Let's turn on the storm reports. Let me just turn off this. Turn on the storm reports from the Storm Prediction Center. And here we go. Where are they? Boom, boom, boom. Local storm reports. Now let's go back to what's been reported tonight. You're going to see near Mobridge, a couple of tornadoes were spotted down here and reported. Local storm report. 4 miles east of Mound City, tornado reported. The magnitude of 0 doesn't mean anything. We can't tell you the magnitude of the tornado yet. The National Weather Service usually goes out and does a study to see how much damage was done. Tornado, Mound City, 6 miles to the east was reported. Now, as we go up into that highway, well, let's see. I'm not seeing the reports here. So I don't know if they have the wind reports here. Nope. Okay, so I'm not seeing a storm report here, but essentially in Steele to the east of town, 20 train cars were tipped over. Saw the video myself. I just can't show it. Storms heading towards Wahpeton, Breckenridge. Are they severe? No, not right now. The latest update on that area is that we do have some strong thunderstorms moving out of the Gwinner area, moving towards Cayuga. They are not severe. There could be some hail with them, mind you, but it's not severe. Latest hail estimates by the Doppler radar is a ½ inch or less on these storms. So generally, no. A ½ inch or so in diameter will be the hail potential with those storms. This is still a big, ugly unit right here moving through Barnes County. Basically, Highway 200 and points south to Interstate 94. This is moving east. Will it make it to Fargo? Well, my gut tells me it's going to kind of slide to the north, but one of the models showed this thing diving a little bit south tonight, right? Do you remember that model? I called that the Werf model. That's what it was doing. So this thing, if it does spin just a little bit down to the south, it could be heading towards Fargo. I'll keep you updated nonetheless. If storms approach your area tonight, there is a small chance that we could see still some severe storms tonight. We have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings now as we approach the 11 o'clock hour. We've had train cars toppled. We've had baseball-sized hail south of Bismarck. We've had funnel clouds spotted touching the ground, so they were tornadoes in Sioux County. I don't see any storm reports from this for the Sioux County area. I'm not sure why. It might have to do with the timing of how long I'm allowing these things to display on the screen. But I will say the 20 train cars were from a tornado-warned storm that moved through the Steele area tonight. Likely a tornado toppled those, but we'll keep you updated on all of that. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Your forecast includes more storms all the way into the noon hour tomorrow, on again, off again, mainly after midnight here in the valley and progressing right into noontime tomorrow. For you in central Minnesota, another line of storms will develop and form there, moving east into the evening hours. The Red River Valley should be done as we go into the afternoon hours. If you have severe weather to report, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time for uploading your photos. I certainly do appreciate it. Let's see. Joel Herman's reporting kidney stones right here in Harwood so far. Okay. Joel, I hope those are not kidney stones you have. Maybe kidney stone size hail in Harwood. Oh, well, Harwood hasn't had hail, so, oh no. Joel, I mean, I hope you're doing well. Jessica says, good evening. Heading towards Hendrum or north? Yes. there'll be some storms tonight. These are moving east. Okay, so moving toward the I-29 corridor. Fargo's in the mix. Hutch is going to take a break. Severe thunderstorm warning for Barnes County, including Valley City. Those storms are moving into the Valley City area. Now there's some spin associated with them. The part of the storm that's moving into the Valley City is not the heaviest part of the storm, nor is it the rotating part of the storm. That's still away from you out by Sanborn right now. And there is rotation, as you see the spinning icon here. That rotation is working its way off to the east to near Valley City and near Lake Ashtabula. There is some significant hail potential from Daisy through Rogers and down in towards Sanborn right now as well. New comment. Let's go down to it. Thank you, West Fargo. Really lightning and thunder here. Thank you so much, Janine. Let me know where here is. I appreciate that very much in the comments. That's helpful. Thank you, Janine. Valley City. So a lot of thunder and lightning going on in Valley City. This is a rotating thunderstorm, and it is spinning, and the National Weather Service is using the term tornado possible. Now, that doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground, but we do have some other signs that there could be some spinning going on in the atmosphere, including the Doppler radar data here of velocity. We'll take one more look at that before I take a little bit of a break, and then I hope to be back here shortly. Looking at this from the Mayville radar, there's spin down here on this south side by Sanborn. This is not necessarily what we would call tight gate-to-gate spin. That would indicate some other things going on in the mid-levels of cloud. I like to call it rolling at that level from a conical slice of the atmosphere working its way in. So, and some very gusty winds potentially with these storms. And again, looking at the wind speeds that the radar is picking up or estimating, I'm seeing, did I see a 70 or was that a 7? Let's look right in here with this pink stuff. 62. So about a mile, a little less than a mile above the ground, we have 60 or 70 mile per hour winds burping out of this storm or interacting with this storm, and those can sometimes mix to the ground. So I will keep you posted. We have a thunderstorm that's showing signs of rotation heading in the general direction of Valley City. You should be seeking shelter in an interior room. Stay away from those windows. New information just coming in. New warning, it looks like. Okay. I'm getting information in, so pardon me while I do that. New severe thunderstorm warning, Barnes County. Okay, so look at this. New warning behind Hutch's head. Let me move my head. Here we go. Got my water. Okay, so this warning includes Valley City. Notice how they've moved it farther south because there's some very strong wind down here on the south side. That's what we're seeing with the radar data here with these bright greens. Also, we have this area right here where there's some spin going on. That's heading right towards Valley City. This is now inclusive of parts of the Cass County area, including Buffalo and Tower City. The wind speeds being picked up by this Doppler radar here. And again, the radar measures the wind that's coming exactly toward the radar. So if the wind happens to be not blowing right toward the radar, but in a different direction, then we're only going to measure a portion of the wind, a component, it's called, of the wind speed. So the fact that this is picking up wind speeds of 60 miles per hour or better, and it's a crosswind, this wind is blowing this way from the west to the east out of the storm, and the radar beam's coming this way. So we have to use trigonometry to calculate, but that's going to be well over 50 miles per hour from the storm going on there. Sorry for that. Oh my goodness. So, indeed. Okay. So yeah, there's definite confirmation that, what was going through the Steel area was a tornado, earlier tonight. That's Kidder County off to the east, a lot closer to the Bismarck area. New thunderstorm warnings are coming in right now. We'll go over those. I've got a bunch of pictures that are being uploaded right now, so we'll go over those. And I do believe that what I'm going to do, because Valley City is a very large community, Sanborn, we're going to stick with you and keep you updated as this storm approaches Valley City. I'm going to put this on the regular reflectivity. I'm going here. I'm going to hit the play button. And we're going to let this loop, and we're going to take a look at what we got here. We're going to have a donut right in the middle of the storm. Isn't that kind of interesting right there? That little donut right there. There was some spin in that donut area earlier. So very good. When will this hit the Wheatland area? Well, um, we are definitely looking at storms that are making their way into the general direction. I'll have to stop this from looping to answer your question, and I will have to turn back on my storm tracking. Okay. Do you see how most of these conical cones are moving to the north? It's that these individual thunderstorm cells are moving in this northeasterly direction. But I'm telling you, these storms have tracked east along the interstate through northern Stutzman County the whole way. It's like that. So even though these individual thunderstorm cells are moving that way, it's this low pressure center that's developed in the center. It's moving off to the east. That thing's going to keep trucking east. So we're going to continue to see these moving through. I think our chances in the Fargo area, and particularly northern Cass County, are very good for seeing very windy thunderstorms tonight. And this thing I'm calling it here is a mesoscale convective complex, and it's rotating. It may even have a little what we would call a mesoscale convective vortex if it's spinning around that little empty spot in the middle. So that thing is, these things can create lives of their own and last for hours. So we'll see what this thing does. But right now, if you're in Valley City, prepare for gusty straight line winds. We got this backwards C shape to the winds right here, indicating that there could be some very stout winds. Hail core here, hail core here, hail core here, hail core here out by Rogers to Sanborn. So all the pink to dark reds you see there, those are hail cores. All of them capable of up to about 1-inch diameter hail. The National Weather Service text for this storm goes down towards Alice and Fingal. And as we go ahead and update you on that, the motion of the storm is east, not northeast, at 29 miles per hour, says the National Weather Service. 1-inch diameter hail possible from it. We have 60 mile per hour wind gusts possible with this. And there is no more tornado threat. It's mainly a hail and wind gust threat, according to this update. Now, we're still seeing some spin with the storm, and I will keep a very close eye on that. But that's something the Weather Service is keeping a very close eye on as well. So that's going on here. Garden variety rain making its way into Grand Forks right now. If you're in Polk County, you got flat out rain coming into Climax, Shelley, moving towards Crookston. This is moving northeast, though. We'll see if it hits Beltrami with some showers and sprinkles there. Fertile area is also in the path of those sprinkles and showers right now. This main event, will it get to you in Polk County and Fargo? Yeah, it's heading in our general direction. So the way it looks right now, if we're now casting, as we call it, let's take a look at the distance, and we'll measure the linear distance to where this storm is now near Valley City and Fargo. It's 55 miles away, moving at about 25 miles per hour or so. It's a good couple hours away. So that's 1 in the morning. So 1 in the morning, this will be moving towards West Fargo. And that's a little bit of time yet before we have to be concerned about that. So let me turn this line path up. Okay. All right. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and see if we can. Why is that still there? Okay. There we go. Let's see if that's off now. There we go. Okay. Took me a while to figure out how to turn that off. Sorry about that. Okay, so Valley City, you have a very heavy rain batch making its way through. Sanborn to Rogers, some hail in that general vicinity is making its way through. Most of Barnes County looks to be getting hit with some very heavy rain. And we also have this cell working its way out of the Emmons County area. And this one's heading in towards Napoleon right now. So as we take a look at this cell, go ahead and load up the latest from the National Weather Service. 1.5-inch diameter hail. That's big hail for this time of the night after dark, being fed by warm, humid inflow. It's moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour, is heading right towards Napoleon with the hail core. Here's the hail core heading in towards Napoleon at this hour. So severe thunderstorms are continuing right now, moving into the Valley City area, just garden variety showers north of Fargo towards Grand Forks right now. And where these go tonight, these are not the only events in town. There'll be some more development as we go through the overnight hours. Let's see if we got any more questions. I think that does it. When will this hit Wheatland? Valley City, you've got storms moving in right now. I'm going to look and see about those updated videos and photos. And Josh, thank you again for uploading your video. I really do appreciate the trouble of you doing it. I know you can't take credit for it, but I just can't show that because I want to make sure that the appropriate person uploads it and gives me the permission to show it so they get credit. And I do appreciate you sharing it with me because I wanted to see what that tornadic thunderstorm did, and indeed it did do some damage down there. It looks like we got a new updates right now. So let me see if I pull that up. Okay, here we go. This is a photo coming at you now. Thank you for sharing. The same storm that is now making its way through, has made its way through Jamestown, heading through the Valley City area earlier as it made its way on I-94 through the Kidder County area near Steele, just 2 miles east of town. This is what happened. I'm going to go to Hutch's Weather, hutchesweather.com. Y'all are the very goodest for uploading this. Thank you very much. Watching from West Fargo, says Taylor. And Tina says, winds, heavy rain just started in town. Tina, thank you for your report. Check this out. This is a look at the damage from the storms as they work their way through. Jay capturing this from Steele. Tornado took down rail cars 2 miles east of Steele. Can you see that? So there it is. You can just see the several cars that have lined up here that were toppled by the storms as they blew through Steele. Empty, mind you, but still they're train cars. They're very heavy, and that's what happened. See, thank you so very much. You guys help make Hutch's Weather. Nasty storms with gusty straight line winds are coming into Valley City right now. There is some rotation in this. The rotation is showing up right here. I'll put the radar back up. That rotation is showing up right here, just outside of the Valley City area by about 10 miles or so. It won't be long before that rotating part of the storm will be making its way in. You already got rain and hail making its way in. And here's the rotating part of the storm. Is it rotating strongly? Let me get you the latest on that. There is some spin showing up with this storm where we have greens next to reds, greens next to reds. I wouldn't call it the strongest spin that's showing up. It's just rather weak, a little unorganized, but it's also a mile above the ground. So we're looking above the ground a ways. Can't necessarily see exactly what's going on or coming out of the bottom of the cloud. For that, we rely on trained storm spotters. And I'm going to look at the National Weather Service forecast office. And indeed, let's go to the one here in Grand Forks because they're the ones responsible for Valley City, North Dakota. All right, let's see. There we go. The core of this storm refuses to weaken. Well, no kidding. That's exactly what's going on. The models, most of the models had this stuff falling apart. One model didn't. Now, we've been talking about that tonight. They did a pretty good job, Worf. Therefore, kept the quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour warning for that. That's a pretty nasty storm out there. If you're in Valley City right now, prepare for some gusty straight-line winds. How strong are those winds? I'll go ahead and query the storm here. As we are looking in toward Valley City, this is above the ground by a ways, but we're still picking up 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds in places where we see the blue colors here a little bit higher. The winds are moving this way, west to east. The radar is pointing at it from the north east. Okay, so we're only going to measure the component of the wind that's moving toward the radar. So, you know what? The winds coming out of this storm are in spots going to be a little bit in excess of what we're seeing here. So keep that in mind. Still some spin and rotation in the storm as it approaches Valley City, and that's what's moving in your general direction. Double checking for an update. Watching from Moorhead. Shirley, good to have you on board. It's now 11:06. Severe thunderstorm warning for Valley City. The risk of a tornado with this storm isn't great. It's not zero, though. Severe thunderstorms can and sometimes do produce tornadoes. This is not model guidance. I'm sorry about that. I've been switching back and forth. This is the Doppler radar data, so I'll switch that back. Got to get used to that. Watching from Hope, and in Hope, there's some stuff coming towards you and your neighbors in Page from Barnes County. So this is a pretty nasty storm. And if you're in Tower City, you are included in the severe thunderstorm warning. So there's Hope. You're included in the warning. Page is just out of it. Pillsbury, you're in the warning, of course. So severe thunderstorm warning. Valley City, Love to hear what you got. And if you have measurements of hail or reports of hail, I'd like to know what you're hearing and seeing. It does look like most of these cells that the radar is detecting here, estimating hail size of around 1/2 of an inch to an inch. Yeah, to 1.5 inches. So the greatest hail core is on that northern fringe of the storm where you see the one here. That's a 1-inch hail marker. In fact, this says estimated severe hail probability. 60% of the area could be getting some severe sized hail there or so. So that's a possibility. This is moving in the general direction of Pillsbury and northern parts of Barnes County right now, moving off to the east at about 20 miles per hour. It's showing northeast at ridiculous speeds, but we know this storm has been trekking east. So the National Weather Service says in their warning that it's moving east at about 29 or 30 miles per hour. So that's what we have going on there. Oh, that's where I do that. Okay. Learning. Thanks for letting me learn. Good to have you on, Matt from Monoman. So again, severe thunderstorms, Barnes County, Valley City, western parts of Cass County, not including Fargo, but Tower City, yes. Hope, Page area, your area. Wishick, we got a storm moving towards you. This one has some ginormous hail potential. We're talking still upwards of around 2 inches in diameter with this puppy. 1.5-inch diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Beaver Lake State Park, Kintyre and Burnstead, Napoleon, all in the path of that storm. South of Devil's Lake, just lightning every second, nonstop. Brandon, thank you for your report. Speaking of the Devil's Lake Basin right now, if you're looking at the regular reflectivity data from the radar, you'll see that there are no thunderstorms in Devil's Lake. But boy, yeah, you're probably just getting those clouds lighting up, that what we call heat lightning at a distance, working its way in. Look at the Richland County showers and storms that are moving toward Lidgerwood. These are non-severe right now, but I am seeing some hail potential from this storm that's picked up a little bit near Cayuga. 1/2-inch diameter hail or a little bit less, the main possibility there. So non-severe storm moving into the Richland County area right now. So that's a look at what's going on. And Janine says, windy now, raining hard. Thank you. That's in Valley City. Thanks, Janine. Appreciate that. New pic uploaded. Thank you very much. Let's go see what that is. I got to always go through these, approve them, and make sure that we're good to go. Okay. Storm during the tornado warning in Steele. Whoa. Awesome. Okay. I mean, awesome that you captured the video from a safe location. It was a tornado warned storm, and that was some definite nastiness showing up there. We'll go ahead and upload that and show that to you all. Thank you very much for your support of stars. Thanks for supporting me by passing the good word that Hutch is on doing weather here in Hutch's Weather. Let me share with you what was just uploaded, because it's always interesting as a team here. We're all part of the team, and this is the latest upload from you. The storm that moved through Steele that knocked over the train cars. So this is a look. This is from Jaden in Steele, North Dakota. During the storm warning, during the tornado warning that was going through the area. So this was in Steele, a lot of wind and sideways rain making its way through. Notice that at that particular time, there wasn't huge hail. If I recall right, the radar was showing a huge hail core just north of the interstate there with that particular core. That storm just 2 miles east of town did this. Check this out. It's the train cars along the rail. 20 cars were toppled off of the tracks there by that tornado warned storm. So we definitely had some ominous looking skies out there, including in the Oaks area here. Check out this view. Oopsies. Yeah, this is from Christine Harris. Look at Oaks, the lumpy bumpies in the sky. Those are called mammatus clouds, and those are amazing. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate all of you. Just got garbage and recycling bags out. You can see and feel the weather shifts in the last few hours, Chris says. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, sometimes those garbage bags and stuff can take a tumble. Let's take a look here now. Turn the cells off. We'll leave the hail and hail cores. And now we'll get you back to the radar. We're all learning together. Hutch is learning his new software. The green are hail cores in this storm that's moving through Barnes County. Look at this. In the Cass County area, we do have a couple hail cores out there, but the main event is here in central Barnes County, north of Valley City. Really windy here, says Katie. This wind is moving the steering axle on my semi. So, Jared, yeah, this is gusty wind. It's no joke. Let me take a look at some wind speeds offline here. I'm going to look off out of the corner of my eye at instruments that I won't have access to elsewhere, but right here. So let me take a look at these. Wind and pressure, current gusts at the 10-foot level. We've got Barnes County looking 35 out there in Cooperstown for gusts right now. Let's look a little higher, shall we? 33 feet off the ground, those peak gusts right now. Today's peak gusts. 35, 40 mile per hour. So that's what we're looking at on that particular network. And that's from the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. Thanks to them for providing a huge network of instruments across our state, even into Minnesota and even into Montana and places. So here's a look at this storm. Now we've got this near page. We've got this little cell here that's got some hail on the south side of it. That hail core right there is about a ½ inch or less in diameter. The probability of severe hail is not good. It's low. But the probability of hail is 80%. So some of you in this area where you see this green icon, going to see some hail moving into that Arthur area, moving east at 20 miles per hour. Here we have 3/4 inch diameter hail, and there's 100% probability of hail in here where we see this line of pinks from near Sibley right down to Valley City, just north of town in particular. What's going to hit in Valley City? You see these backward C shapes? You're talking about all the wind you're hearing? That happens. It forms this backward C shape when wind is blowing out. So here we have a hail core. Hail and rain and mass fall out of the cloud, and it hits the ground, and that mass causes wind. It has to go somewhere. So rain, cooled air blows out ahead of the storm, and then we get this backward C shape going on. And look at this. Backward C shape right here heading in again. So another round of heavy winds fixing to move into Valley City right now. Right now it's located just as a crow flies. Let's go ahead and mark that line. As a crow flies, that line of hail and this leading edge of gusty wind is 5 miles due north of Valley City. So if you're on Lake Ashtabula, they're about 5 miles up and on up towards maybe 10 miles up. There's a pretty good core of wind that's going to be blowing its way towards you as you go through. So please keep that in mind. Now let me see. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now as we take a look at that line of rain and storms, let's go here to the telestrator. Little red. This is all moving east, 20 miles per hour. That's where this gust front or gusty wind is going to be blowing through. It should be punching into the west side of Valley City. Trina says the wind is crazy now in Valley City. Thank you very, very much. If you have a home weather station, let me know what kind of measurements you're getting from that. Let me look at the National Weather Service office here and see if they've got anything new. New warning, 60 mile per hour expected. Okay, so nothing too new from them in the last 5 to 10 minutes or so. So this is the next batch moving out of Sanborn, heading into Valley City. This backward C shape indicates that you're going to have a chance for some pretty significant winds working their way through. Let me see. I thought I could erase that, but let me go. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. There we go. So now I've turned the telestrator off. Getting a little gooder. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue. Now we've got some huge hail here and a rotating thunderstorm working its way into Napoleon. The spinning icon that you see here behind my shoulder, which is a yellow spinning icon, indicating that this severe storm is showing some signs of rotation as it has. We also have 2-inch diameter hail pushing into Napoleon. So you folks in Napoleon are likely getting hit with some pretty sizable hail. Braddock also taking part of that. Look what's going on in Burleigh County here south of Wings. Some more development, right? It's going to be a long night. Look at Minot. It's going to be a long night. More storms forming right now. Granville, Velva. You've had a lot of rain up that way, right? We showed you estimates of rainfall up in that area, upwards of 1 inch or more. And now there's some more thunderstorms forming in your area. So couple of areas of strong thunderstorms moving into Valley City right now. Gusty straight line winds could exceed 60 miles per hour with this storm. Severe thunderstorm warning says 60 mile per hour. Valley City, Hope, Tower City, Sanborn, Buffalo, Ariska, and Daisy. Again, the warning's in effect until midnight, so that's what we'll be watching for there. Hutch needs a drink. Got my water, lemon water. And we're good to go as long as you have lemon water, right? Okay, thank you very much. Now let's see what Bismarck is saying. A lot of hail reports tonight out west. And a huge looking tornado caught by a storm chaser out there of that steel tornado. And that thing was big. So no wonder it knocked the train off the tracks. So we're going to hear more about that as we go through. Let's take a look at some other factors in the atmosphere here. Let's see if I can plot this and find it. Let's go here. Let's go with okay, looking for some okay, for that, let's go to this product. Maybe we go here. Okay, what are we looking at? Wind gusts. Now we're looking at some model stuff along with the radar. Whoopsie, sorry, Pedro. He's right down here. He knows something's going on. Okay, what we're going to look at is a little bit of a look at some energy in the atmosphere, if I can. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, this is why sometimes we get a little bit wondering why is this storm forming? Because a computer model is saying that the energy in the atmosphere is highest here in the pink, and it drops off dramatically as we go into the James River Valley and the Cheyenne River Valley. By the time we get to the Red River Valley, the energy in the atmosphere for upward moving air is a lot less. So this shows up well here in Grand Forks, where we have very little severe potential. It's just garden variety showers. Here we have increase, but this is a mesoscale convective complex. And even though it's moving into areas where the stability is calculated to be lower by models, this storm has begun a life of its own. Now, as long as we have a south flow into that thing, or that southeast wind blowing into that storm, I think that that's going to be the thing to analyze here. So let Hutch do that right now. Let's take a look at the low-level winds in the atmosphere. I'm going to look at the 850 millibar winds. And we do have some stronger winds. Let's see if I can show you. Okay, so feeding in from the southeast are 50-mile-per-hour winds into this storm. That's a pretty good inflow of hot, humid air. That wind speed decreases up to the north. So when this storm starts moving into the Red River Valley, if it doesn't come with this stronger wind that's feeding warm, moist air into the storm, then this storm, this cluster of thunderstorms here that's severe, could decrease in intensity. So that's what we're watching. And look at this. We have storms forming in areas where the stability isn't too great, but the inflow is there. So there is warm, moist air fueling these storms right now. Plus, we have outflow boundaries laying around here and there. They kind of look like this on the radar, these faint green lines. This big monster here, as it was moving out of steel, laid down in the path of the tornadic part of that cell, laid down an area of outflow. That outflow may be laying right here. Okay, so that little outflow boundary could be a place where storms fester up tonight, heading into the overnight hours. So that's what we have in Manitoba. My Manitoba friends, we have strong thunderstorms working their way towards Winnipeg, Brandon, Manitoba, north of the Winkler area up here. So we definitely have some stout thunderstorms working their way into your neck of the woods. So keep that in mind. Those are moving northeast right now. Not severe. At least by the standards here in the United States, we have a 1-inch diameter hail threshold. Yours is 3/4 of an inch or so. So not quite the same parameters. Now, we're plotting a look at where the atmosphere has winds blowing into these storms overnight to help fuel these thunderstorms. Let's take a look at something else. What about the spin in the storms? For that, I'm going to look at a couple different parameters. And this is a spin in the atmosphere called helicity. And the helicity is higher as we look at the helicity index in the central Dakotas still. So that's a look at what we have going on right now with regards to the modeled calculations of spin in the atmosphere. This storm is moving out of the area of spin. How can it be still creating spinning thunderstorms? Well, because it's got inflow into it, and it's got outflow on the backside, and it's its own rotating system. not showing up on the models. Models don't show that. So that puppy could live on for a little while yet, I'm afraid. And could it make it to Fargo? My gut tells me that there's not as much instability here, but as long as that southeast inflow stays into it, it's been feeding the beast for a while now, and it could continue to do it for the next couple of hours. So if you're in Valley City, thank you for your reports. Let me check and see if I've got any more uploads to show you from you, the viewers here of Hutch's Weather. Thank you very much for all that you have shared throughout this very interesting weather event tonight across our area. I'm looking in on the Bismarck National Weather Service Forecast Office. They have their warning continuing down there to the south of Bismarck here near Napoleon. That storm continues to have hail that's very large in size, 1 to 2 inches in diameter through Napoleon right now. Not seeing any measurements or reports coming in, so that's a good sign. If it moves over a town and we don't get reports, that maybe the hail wasn't quite as big as the radar estimates look like here. So again, the colors that you're seeing behind this are parameters that Hutch is looking at. And okay, I'm going to turn this nonsense off now. We're done. We're done looking at parameters. There we go. Okay, so now you're looking at the motion of the storms as they were working their way into the southern Red River Valley, non-severe Richland County, severe western parts of Clay County and Barnes County. These are moving east. Nothing severe up near Grand Forks. This cluster of storms right here by my fist is moving mainly off to the east. It could impact portions of the Highway 200 corridor. I'll keep you posted on that. And we do have this isolated system here and here, a whole new line starting to form in the central Dakotas right now. So that's what's going on. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. Remember, you can always share the latest. Your reports are very, very helpful. So thank you all so very much for sharing your reports. You can log into hutchesweather.com. You can upload photos right there on Facebook. Thank you for following me on Facebook. If you have not done so yet, please follow Hutch's page. You have a chance at getting notified by the platform that Hutch is doing a update. But on hutchesweather.com, if you go there, you have the opportunity to sign up. And by signing up, Hutch shows you that you can sign up at the top by entering your email into this box right here. So you type in your email, hutch@suchandsuch.com, and hit sign up. You sign up for alerts. Tonight, the weather was bad enough. I sent an alert out to my hundreds and hundreds of viewers. And basically, you get an email blast from me that says, I am covering severe weather. If you want to check it out, you may want to know about this. So we sent out an email blast and you all told me it was working good, and I appreciate your feedback. Your forecast is at the top on hutchesweather.com. My latest videos are always there. If you happen to miss it, you can always find it here. And this is the button you push to view all the videos and photos uploaded tonight and share yours. Thanks so very much. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I'm going to go take a little bit of a break. I'll be back as these storms approach Barnes County, exit Barnes County, heading into Clay County, Cass County, I should say, and the I-94 corridor and I-29 corridor here in the southern and eastern parts of North Dakota. Oh boy, looks like it could be a long night. I'll also get some coffee brewing. You're watching Hutch's Weather.